Hello, how are you doing? Well, I want to kind of continue a little bit with my topic on this book right here. Foreign Conspiracy Against the Liberties of the United States. I finally got the book, and of course there's a free download, and I did that. But I wanted to get the book by Samuel Finley Morse. Got it from Walmart, probably the cheapest, but you can get it anywhere, wherever you can find it. The book was written, of course, in I think he started maybe 1835. That was the first time publishing. So it is about the time around the time before Abraham Lincoln. And during the time of actually Napoleon, he gets this information, or right after Napoleon in Europe. So he's writing really this conspiracy between, not the conspirators are the Austrian government and papacy. Well, in the meantime, of course, we cannot say that Austria still conspires against the United States Constitution, because Austria, the kingdom or the empire of Austria, has gone away. It fell. So what we have left is still this little teeny Austria that also even has less significance after Second World War. However, the most important thing is that papacy is still in existence. Isn't that interesting? All the things that papacy experienced, and seems like they keep coming back and coming back and coming back. Kingdoms fall around them, but papacy comes back. It's not going away. It's not being snuffed out. Yeah, that is kind of really interesting. And so the plan of papacy continues. He says in here, papacy, is a kind of political idea, or is a political institution. That's what he says. But it's a political institution that is opposed to our Constitution, to democracy or federalism. We are federal government, especially Constitution of the United States. And I hope everybody still knows what the Constitution of the United States stands for. Equality of humankind before the law, liberty, liberty of conscience, what he explains quite a lot. And that is still here, and I don't think that papacy ever stopped trying to bring down this idea of the Constitution of the United States, because it is opposed to their belief. Their belief is like, what do you call that when a king rules? A king or papacy has absolute authority. Absolute authority. There's a hierarchy within the church that has to be obeyed, absolutely obeyed, people. Okay, absolutely obeyed. There is no free will. That's opposed. Okay, there is no free will. The regular people are just simply property, in a sense. of the rulers. That's just basically what it is. And that is what papacy believes. It says here, when he calls it popery, is a political system, despotic in its organization. As a despot comes from despot, which is a ruler, right? Despotic. Anti-democratic, anti-republican, and cannot therefore coexist with American republicanism. That's what he writes right here on page 117. He also says the ratio of increase of popery is the exact ratio of decrease of civil liberty. In other words, popery gains, liberty loses. And therefore, it is dangerous to our Constitution. Now, okay, that's what this guy says, and is that so? And I'm thinking, well, we have a lot of Catholics living here, and it seems like they're actually surviving in the United States. But again, what is their true thinking? What is their true thinking? Because they are still very much submitted to the Pope. They still believe the Pope has final decision over everything. So no, they're not giving that up. You can't be a Catholic and doubt the Pope. My mother, who is from Germany, lives in Germany, she tells me many times, "Oh, I'm not following the Pope. I do what I want," she says. And yes, but in reality, she is still hanging on to her Catholic Church, and still thinks that the Catholic Church is the end to, or the means to salvation. Yeah, she does. She can't get out of it. She has sold her soul to that church, in a sense. Okay? So he is saying, and again, with every book, with every writer, we have to understand that they have their own opinions, and we have to sort through that they're biased. We have to sort through that. And of course, then we can peel all that away and then get to, really, is it true? Okay, is it really true? Did papery or popery, the way you call it, or papacy, really try to destroy America? And I think most of all, what I am looking for is the spirit of papacy. I think we need to find what is the spirit of papacy. That's maybe what and America doesn't think about that, because again, we in the United States, most of us have been really exposed to Protestantism traditionally. Right now we're exposed to wokeness, right? And again, we can ask if that is not really, or was that not a goal maybe of Catholicism to destroy our Protestantism here in the Protestantism of the United States. And I would think that's the case. Okay, destroy your kids, infiltrate into the schools. That's exactly what they're writing about, or he is writing about. Infiltrate, that's the plan. Infiltrate in their schools Get a hold of the minds of the children. Start this thinking in their mind, liberalism, and what we have today is wokeism, right? That human mind cannot stop anymore. At least regular people, if they're not under the guidance of the Holy Spirit, they go to the extreme. We think, humankind is, can be better and they can evolve. But when you look at the masses, we can't. The masses will tell you that we cannot evolve, that we need guidance, we need limits, we need boundaries. You look at a child needs boundaries, and even when they become an adult does not mean they're ready. If you look at the moral development and, having a degree, I have a degree in early childhood education, I have a degree in counseling, so I'm very familiar with development. So if you look at the moral development, of the human being, there's extrinsic factors and intrinsic factor. We want that a person gets intrinsic factors that will guide their morality. But most people don't get there. So in other words, they still continue to depend on extrinsic factors, which are punishment and reward. And most people never get to this, let's say, higher moral development, where they actually have intrinsic factors guiding them and saying, wait a minute, this is right and this is wrong. So in other words, the conscience has to be built. There has to be a conscience. And people have to, know that, hey, I have to respect other people before I can expect to be respected. So that golden rule is not an automatic. I have worked with children in school as a counselor for many years and tried to really teach them to respect this golden rule through various ways. And, it seems like it's very hard today for people to do that. Do unto others as you want them to do to you. That's the golden rule. So, what I'm trying to say is we need guidelines. And so what did Protestantism do? And he writes it in this book too. Protestantism has a tendency, because they're in the business of giving freedom to speech, freedom to your own development, right? That's what we want. We believe that each person should choose or has the right to choose. So what we have a tendency to do is to give people freedom. But again, since not all people can handle the freedom, or many people can't, most people can't, so we have a tendency for our culture to go the other way. And yes, then we can say, that's the result of Protestantism. That's the result of, hey, you allowing freedom. That's exactly then what the Roman Catholic Church comes in and says, wait a minute, these people cannot choose for themselves. Look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. They're killing babies all the way in abortion, right? They abort babies all the way to the 9th month. They cannot even see that these babies are human beings. Just because they're selfish, self-centered. And yes, that's what human beings are. And it is absolutely right. I think that's why we have government to keep people in check. That's why we have, a judicial system. I think that's what it's called, right? A justice system to keep people in check. That's what a government has. There's laws in place that people have to follow. And if you go beyond those laws, yes, it's not like we are anarchy, where people can just do what they want. There's certain laws in place and everybody has to go by those laws. But within the laws, we can make our own decisions. And that is the balance. But yes, if left alone, the system will go to the other side, which we have today. When these Protestants are not keeping things in check, are only interested in making money and having a better lifestyle for themselves and not thinking about really the moral development or ethical development of a nation, then we end up exactly where we are today. And then that's the time when we again have to put these tyrants in place. And unfortunately, that's the way to bring back humanity into at least somewhat of a balance. And I know it's hard to understand. But this book has been written 1835. Think about that. Since 1835, what has happened? No, I am not for Catholicism. I'm not for tyranny. I'm not for some ruler to take over, or rulers or a hierarchy telling us what to do. No, I'm not for that. I am for our Constitution. But we have neglected, and now we are, at this point, we are blaming the woke people for what went wrong in our country. Okay? And we all, or most, or many of us, so-called Christians, do that. Oh, it's the woke people's fault. Oh, it's the homosexuals' fault. Oh, it's whatever. Transsexual. What has happened? Why are these people out? Well, we have allowed it, people. By neglecting our children, by allowing many, many, many things to happen in our country. Drifting away from the truth, drifting away mainly the Bible. Putting facades up in our churches. Playing church instead of taking it serious. Oh no, we were so interested in acquiring wealth. Okay, playing war games all over the world. We were so interested in other people's affairs. Oh, we're bringing democracy to other countries. Okay, that we forgot to clean out our own country and to check what's going on here. Yes, that's exactly what we have done. We have forgotten for 150 years to check what's really going on in this country. Why do you think people in the 60s rebelled? Why do you think? Because we already in the 60s fell away from the truth. That's why. Because we opened our churches, or what? Did not open our eyes to what our government was doing in the world. One war after another in the name of democracy. Now, people, listen to this. The last speech that our president gave us. Oh my goodness, democracy is attacked in the States. Democracy is attacked in the States? Look what our president did during the past 2 years. He is the one who attacked democracy. He is the one who attacked our Constitution. And then he really is putting in question, or is saying that our democracy is attacked? Well, of course, people, he is saying that somebody from the outside, another country, is attacking our democracy. But that's not the case. The forces who attacked our democracy were right in the country. The forces that attacked our democracy were the forces that Biden follows. Those were the forces, and we know what kind of forces that he is following. Did he not swear on what? The family Bible? He swore that he was acknowledging that he supports his family traditions and his family religion. Now, his family religion or tradition is not biblical truth, it is Catholicism. And that's what he is following, and that's exactly what we have seen. I said earlier in this video, we need to look at the guidance, the principles of Catholicism. The principles. What are the principles of papacy? Okay, and then we can find those principles again in our politicians. What is the principle? Somebody makes the decision and you better follow. Have we experienced that in the past 2 years? And who was giving us that principle? The person that's now screaming, oh, our democracy is attacked. By whom? See, he thinks his opponents attack democracy. But democracy is not, hey, I'm a dictator and I say what is going to be done. That is not democracy. And that's what he is talking about, people. Okay? That's what he's talking about. Everybody who does not go along with the government, who is supposed to have what? Total control and authority. That person is against democracy. Now, do you see what that thinking is wrong? Government serves the people. And why would he think that that is not the truth anymore? That now it's the other way around. The people serve the government. Because that is exactly the understanding of monarchy or papacy. Okay, monarchy and papacy is the same. I'm the ruler and you better follow me. You are the dumb peasants and you better follow. Yeah, is that the ideal? What our government now is standing for? Our politicians are standing for? This whole idea about, I shouldn't be going there. I wanted to talk about January 6th, but no, we are not even supposed to be talking about that one. But let's just continue with this little book. Yeah, Austria is gone because the monarchy of Austria is gone. But the thing about Austria is still bowing down to Catholicism. Austria is one country that is mainly Catholic to this day. Okay, mainly Catholic. They did not have this this battle going on between Catholicism and Lutheranism, so Protestantism. It stayed mainly, especially during the Kaiser time, the emperor's time, when the book was written, they were mainly Catholics. And so that's why papacy was very connected with Austria at that time, because the Kaiser supported Catholicism. And since they both had the same idea, about our political ideas, and they were both supporting each other, okay? And that's why they conspired against the United States. Now, guess what? Austria's gone, but the country is still mainly Catholic, so they're still there, but they're going more into also liberal, they're also on the liberal side now, because Catholicism allows liberalism as long as they're not following the Bible. They're fine. You can do anything in Catholicism as long as you're not following the Bible. You're not following the Word. And that is their goal. They don't care if you are a Jew. As long as you are not believing in the Word of God or following Jesus, truly following Jesus. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm just a Christian kind of thing, but we have a lot today. These liberal Christians. They are liberal Christians. Okay? But, yeah, so Austria is out, but papacy has continued. And they have used other political systems to do their dirty work and to bring down Protestantism, bring down especially the Constitution of the United. Yeah, we're always screaming, oh, democracy, just like Biden, right? Oh yeah, let's scream democracy and then everything is okay. Then we can do anything we want. To protect our democracy, we can just do anything we want. Again, isn't that Catholicism? Isn't that coming out of the Catholicism understanding? This guy is saying, oh no, you know what? Just because papacy is using these measures to bring down our Constitution doesn't mean we have to apply the same guidelines to the Catholics. So in other words, we don't apply the guidelines to ban all Catholics from politics, even though that has really been done. I mean, they didn't ban them, but the Protestants, when they still had a majority, they made sure the Catholics stayed out of politics, at least from being a president. Yeah, they watched that. You know, the first president, Catholic president, was Kennedy. And they were really careful putting him in there. And he promised, no, I'm not going to push Catholic principles when I'm a president. I'm going to be neutral. I respect the Constitution. And, you know, like I said with Biden, nobody even asked. Nobody asked. Oh, wait a minute. These people, you know, these Protestant leaders, they didn't ask. They didn't say, oh, wait a minute. He's Catholic. We need to be careful because he's going to be pushing Catholic principles. No, that's already out. Why? Because these leaders already are in connection with the Pope. That's why we don't really have any more true Protestant, okay? Or let's say true believers that are leading our country. They're all fake. That's why we have so many fake, false teachers, or that's why we have so many fake teachers. You can't say fake, false teachers because if you're fake, you're false. They're fake, they're false teachers. That's why we have so many. That's why we have so much sourdough in our churches. Because they are not really following Jesus anymore. They're facade Christians. They're pretend Christians. They're not any different than anybody out there. And we don't have them anymore in politics. We have lost. We have to open the door. And I'm sorry people. I know I'm not coming down on Catholics. And I know there's still a lot of Catholics out there, that are working for papacy, that are strongly supporting papacy. But if you do, you are either consciously supporting their principles, and these principles are opposed to our Constitution, or you just simply don't know. Okay, you think, okay, our faith, is what's the right faith. But there's also principles attached to Catholicism or to papacy. And that's why maybe I'm trying to really distinguish between Catholicism, the Catholic people who don't even know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. Like I said, I have said that in my videos. I have been raised Catholic. I know what's going on. I know what's going on in Germany and why the German people are so complacent. I understand it even after reading, this book. Why are they so complacent? Why are they so going along with authority? Think about it. It is not a Protestant idea. Protestant idea is, hey, you need to check everything. You're responsible before God, and before you make a decision, you better know what's right or what's wrong. That's the Protestant thing, and that is the thinking of the Bible. You check out yourself what's right or what's wrong. Freedom of speech, freedom to decide. Freedom of consciousness, I think that's what they call it. Liberty of consciousness. Of course, if people don't have a conscience, how can they use it? And nowadays, people, do they really have a conscience? No, they don't. They're free-floating. And I have talked about that as well. People, this book is really an eye-opener. Of course, we cannot just use everything. Okay? Guy is biased. Yeah, he is. I understand that. And yeah, I am not for plotting out all Catholics or whatever. It's definitely against me. But we need to be on guard, and we have not been on guard. We have not been on guard forever, and I'm speaking for the Christian community, or the believers, or the Protestants, whatever you want to call them. I am afraid to even say Christian or Protestant. Why? Because for me, a true believer is not what we're having today in these churches, in these traditional churches. That's not what we are having. I mean, they're not true believers. There are maybe one true believer or several in a church. I mean, true believers who follow Jesus, but the rest are nothing but running along. And that's the problem. And the children are already lost. The children are lost. They're gone. They're not going to church anymore. Or they're going to church only on Christmas. Yeah, pagan holiday. Okay? And the rest of the time they're living their lives, having a good time. Wokeism. They're sleeping because they're so busy acquiring wealth and enjoying life. But people, I'm coming to an end. I needed to say that. And also, again, if you can, again, there's a free copy. Read the book. It's quite neat to see that these things have happened in the past 150 years. And now, please look at the principles that these politicians stand for. Especially our president, Pelosi, Catholic. Okay? Look what principles these people really stand for. They can do whatever they want. They can be as corrupt as they want as long as they follow papacy. Okay? As long as they follow papacy. And you're thinking, what, the Clintons? They're Protestant. No, they're not even Protestants. But are they actually really following Jesus? Of course not. They're so corrupt, and that is okay. That's actually what Charles Chiniquy said in his book. The corruption of the Catholic Church, of the bishops, was horrendous. And I think he brought it in a little bit as well. Horrendous. Corruption. But hey, as long as we're bowing down to the Pope, kissing the Pope's hand, everything is okay. Watch also my previous videos about Babylon the Great, because that's what papacy is. If you're new, you have to really see that. You have to understand that papacy is Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great in Revelation 17 and 18. Actually also what people call Antichrist. Many people believe Antichrist is a political power. But Antichrist is not a political power. It is a religious idea. Okay? Unfortunately, this religious idea, or this religious institution, Babylon the Great, made us believe that there is an Antichrist at the end. And I'm not going to talk about that right now, but I did write that in many of my videos about dispensationalism. So please watch my videos. I talked about dispensationalism and how that false idea about the Antichrist actually came from the Roman Catholic Church. Yes. And people say, oh, they don't talk about end times or that kind. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether they talk about it. It only matters that they started the idea about the Antichrist. Came from the Catholic Church. Anyways, hey, let the Holy Spirit guide you always.